everyone. Welcome to another episode of The O Show. I'm O, and I'm here for your amusement. And welcome to the first episode of 2024. Hey! I miss you guys. Sorry for the lateness of my first video of this year. If you saw my little best of episode, I had mentioned that I had messed up my lip. It still feels weird, but it looks normal, okay? It's so much better than it was, so I was let it calm down, okay? Because I don't want those internet trolls out there talking about my lip. But actually, it kind of makes sense for me to talk about this video now because recently they just announced the Oscar nominations this year, and I do kind of want to talk about that pertaining to this video. But what we are here to talk about today is The Color Purple. And I actually saw this movie the day after New Year's with my friend Nikio. Hey, Nikio. We went to go check it out, and we both liked it. I thought it was a pretty good movie. Now, did we need a new Color Purple in our lives? Not really, but here's the thing. I actually did see the movie, well, not the movie, but when it was off Broadway, off, and around the corner Broadway, it was playing here in Chicago, and I want to say this was around 2018. And I took my mom to see it at the Auditorium Theater of Roosevelt University. And I had to keep telling myself at the time, okay, this is a musical based off of the movie, right? So this is not here's the movie, we're going to redo it in play form. So I knew things were going to be different. So pretty much what I'm saying is I went in thinking okay, it's not going to be 100% the same. Some stuff's going to be new. Obviously, there's music. And one thing that I hated, I'm going to say that. One thing that I hated about the musical is when it was over and I went home, a lot of the songs weren't memorable, except this one. It was Hell No. It was sang by Sophia, and that actually made it into this new film. But I remember I came home, and I could look at the names of the songs in this production, and I can't tell you the beat. I can't tell you how it went. I can't tell you a lyric, and that was kind of hard for me because I love musicals. Obviously, if the movie started off as a musical and then they took it to Broadway, kind of like The Lion King. You see The Lion King. We all know The Lion King. I haven't seen it on the stage, but I could go to the stage production and sing along because I know the dang songs. So when I heard they were doing a movie version of this, that's why I kind of got excited because I was okay, well, you know what? I can now see what they tried to do because when you go to a play and they use the same background for everything. If they were in the house, it was the same background. If they were supposed to be outside on the street, it was the same background. So you have to use your imagination and figure out oh, okay, they're out in the field. Oh, okay, they are in the house in the living room. And that just kind of drove me crazy. So at least now we're able to see, the play's vision on the big screen. So that's what I liked about it. That's why I liked it. And then to come to find out, a lot of the songs from the play are not in the movie. I thought I read somewhere that I'm not gonna pick up that book again, but they were 13 out of the whatever songs from the play. I didn't realize there were more than 13 songs in the play, but they were 13 some songs are not in the movie. But there's some good parts of the movie where there's a lot of singing. So, well, damn, did they just make up a whole bunch of new songs? But definitely, the one song I walked away kind of remembering was Hell No, because it literally just says, Hell No. So that's in the movie. Everything else, I guess, is new. I guess. Maybe a couple other songs, but Anyway, y'all. So, if you don't know the history of The Color Purple, it was a book that was written in 1982 by an author named Alice Walker. And then in 1985, Steven Spielberg brought us the movie version of it. Ooh, it's the movie version. Right? Starring the fabulous Whoopi Goldberg. And I'm sure, like, along with other people, like, this movie was pretty much a big part of my childhood, like, growing up. Like, who didn't watch The Color Purple? I would just get bored and be like, I'm going to watch The Color Purple. All this sadness and drama. Yeah, I got, like, 2 hours to waste. But, they made it into a play, and I want to say, like, around 2005. Was it 2005, Fifi? Huh? And I think like Fantasia Barrino starred Celie in that production, and then it got revived in 2015 on Broadway, and then Danielle Brooks, who plays Sophia in this movie, she plays Sophia on stage. I don't know who these people were when I went to go see it. But I saw it in Chicago, so. Alright, so let's talk about this movie. Alright, so I'm not going to go into like super details about this movie, because like if you have not seen The Color Purple by now, like shame on you. You should everyone should see it at least once. But the movie is about two girls, one named Celie, one named Nettie. Nettie's kind of pretty, Celie's kind of but they are living with their father. Their mom passed away, and Celie is pretty much being abused by her dad to the point where she has fathered two children by this man. So we are introduced to her when she's pregnant with her second child. She gives birth, and the father takes the child, and he's like, I'm going to give these children to God. And you're like, what the hell? Are you really giving these children away? Or are you like killing them somewhere? Like, what are you doing with these children? But we find out later that the kids are alive, and they end up being sent to Africa. We'll get to that momentarily. So, there is a man named Mr. And Mr. has been eyeing Nettie for a while, until one day he goes to the father and says, hey, I want to marry your daughter. He was like, well, no, you can't have her, but you can have Celie. And Mr.'s like, God damn it. So he takes her, because apparently he just needs someone to take care of his children's. So he does, and she's just pretty much in this loveless relationship with this man for many years, and is pretty much dealing with his crappy children and his mental and physical and everything else abuse that he's causing her. So turns out, since Celie is gone, their father's like, well, I gotta mess with somebody. So I guess he's trying to have his way with Nettie, and Nettie's like, hell no. And then she leaves. So she comes to Mr.'s property and says, hey, can I stay with you for a bit? And he's like, yeah, just, pull your weight. And of course, Mr. decides, well, you're here, you're on my property, I'm gonna do something to you too. But she ain't having it, and he pretty much just kicks her off his land like an asshole. And that pretty much separates the two sisters, like, for good after that, because Nettie's like, well, nothing but death's gonna keep me from it, which is her, after she says, we're gonna write. I'm gonna write to you, and the only way I'm not gonna write is if I'm dead. So, Sadie pretty much thinks her sister's dead, because she hasn't got a letter or anything after all these years. But really, what happened was, Nettie ended up working with this family of missionaries who went to Africa. They had these two children, and it turns out the children are Celie's. So she was actually bringing up her niece and nephew. Alright, so that's what Nettie's doing. Celie, on the other hand. So, Mr. is in love with this singer named Shug Avery, right? And Shug comes to town, and he's pretty much like, who's married? That's nobody, that's my wife. Because he don't care. He's flirting and doing everything with Shug right in front of Celie's face. So Anyway, we got Harpo, who is Mr.'s, well, I don't even know like what line he is. He's probably the oldest kid. I don't know. We don't really care about the other children in both movies, which is really funny. But Harpo brings home a lady named Sophia one day, and they're about to get married. Mister doesn't approve, but you know what? Sophia, unlike everybody else, she has that attitude like, look, I'm a strong black woman. I'm going to do whatever I want. I'm going to say whatever I want. I don't care. And I dare you to touch me. But, of course, Harpo's like, I'm going to beat you like other people because you need to listen to me. And Sophia was not having it. So Sophia leaves. And leaves Harpo alone. And then he builds a juke joint. And that's where Shug comes to perform. And, yeah. That's that part of the movie. Alright, so we're going to fast forward all the way to the end. Celie finds out that her sister is actually alive and has been writing letters to her like almost every damn week. And Mister has been taking the letters from the mailbox and just hiding them, right? So that's a good thing. And she's getting caught up in the life of her sister and her kids. And then ends up leaving Mister. Shug is now married at the end of the movie with a new husband, and she's living in Memphis, and she comes to visit one day. There's a dinner, and then she's like, look, we're heading back to Memphis, and your wife is coming with us. And Mister's like, no, she ain't. And they were like, yes, she is. Okay. And then Celie's just like, look, everything you did to me, I've already done to you, and you're going to get your shit in the end. Which he does, because like his house is falling apart, he's drunk, his crops are dying, and he's pretty much left with nothing after she leaves. But after all that's happening to him, he does have a change of heart, and he sells some land and gets some money to bring home Natty and Celie's kids from Africa. And they're all reunited in the end. So it was a happy ending in the end. So that's pretty much The Color Purple. There's a few more things in it that we're going to talk about when I talk about the characters. But yeah, if you guys haven't seen the original, just give it. It's always on TV. Now, probably watch it on cable. Don't watch it on like TBS or anything because they're going to edit and cut the shit out of some of stuff. But yeah, if you haven't already, like, I will recommend watching The Color Purple. Now, as for the characters, now I'm not familiar with the girl who plays young Celie, but she is played by an actress that's named Felicia Pearl Impasi. Is that how you say her last name? And then grown-up Celie is played by Fantasia Barrino, who, if you don't know, she's from American Idol, and really good singer, has a whole bunch of albums. And like I said, she originated Celie in the Broadway, the original Broadway release. And I thought she did a really good job. Like, Fantasia has like this unique voice, and just kind of hearing her and the way she talks, it just kind of bottles everything in until she needs to let shit out. I thought it was pretty good, so I had no issues with her. And in fact, just right off the bat, like I had no issues with pretty much anyone else in the cast. Like I thought everyone did like a really, really good job. For the character of Nettie, the young version is played by Halle Bailey, who we all know was recently Ariel in the live-action Little Mermaid. And her older version, who we really don't see until the end of the movie, is actually played by Sierra. Yay! Okay, now, Danielle Brooks, right? If you don't know who Danielle Brooks is, if you watch the show Orange is the New Black, I believe that was like her really big breakout role. And she's been in a whole lot of things like after that. She's on that show with John Cena. I can't think of the title right now, but this show right here. She's on that. But she's actually really good. And she played the hell out of this Sophia role. Um, and like I said, like the only song that I kind of recognized was this song, like "Hell No." Like this is her right here performing it on Broadway. And y'all see these, like how the ground is, like the steps, like the stage is kind of like leveled. Like that was the stage they used on the. It was so the staging was so weird on a Broadway show. So I'm so glad they made this movie. But she really did a good job with Sophia. Like there's a part in the movie. It's really well known in the original movie where Sophia's just minding her own business, and the wife of the mayor is like, "You want to be my maid?" And she's like, "Hell no!" And they were like, "What you say?" And she says, "Hell no!" She gets slapped. She slaps somebody, and they fucking pistol whip her to the ground, put her in jail, and then at the end of the day, she becomes the lady's maid anyway. But in this movie, they show that part's a little different. Like she's getting ice cream for her kids. But like her in that jail cell. Now, look, this movie is the original was really emotional. Okay, I had my crying fits here and there as a kid, but her in that jail cell, just I was dying. Like my friend is sitting here. And like I'm here, and I did have someone to the right of me, but I just kept doing everything to put my hand like around my face so that I could just once in a while do one of these things and just clear my eyes because I was like, oh no, oh my god. But the only thing that like kind of drove me crazy is that in the original, Sophia is played by Oprah Winfrey. Oprah. And you can tell how time has gone by because Sophia gets older. Like she has, when she got pistol whipped, like her eye is crazy and is like half closed now, and she has to like live with that. And she was limping, and I feel like Danielle Brooks was just so pretty after all all the stuff that happened to her. And I think they said, like in this version, she was locked up for 6 years. Was she locked up for 6 years and then became the maid? I don't remember. I don't remember which is. She was in it for a while, I believe. But yeah, later on when she came home and there's this dinner scene and she's sitting at the table, I was like, she still kind of looks good. Like nothing happened to her. That's a little nitpick. I may have to watch the movie again to make sure, but I'm pretty sure that she was looking fabulous and not a mess like Oprah did when she came home. But other than that, like, beautiful performance. Now, as I mentioned before, recently they have announced the Oscar nominations for 2024. And if you're not familiar with the history of the original movie, this movie, which this doesn't say what, well, it was pretty much nominated for a whole bunch of stuff. This one doesn't have any, usually they put stuff on covers like that. It wasn't a winner because I guess it was this whole thing like you got Steven Spielberg directing it. So people are like, why is this white man directing this movie about black people like abusing each other? And so I guess the Academy was like, oh yeah, I guess so. So, that movie was nominated for Best Picture, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actress, Best Screenplay, Best this, Best that, and won nothing. So, the scandalous of it all. But everyone was saying, I like, Fantasia. We're going to talk about Taraji P. Henson next. But, like, especially Danielle Brooks, the Golden Globes happened. No one actually really has been winning anything. It's been nominated for some stuff, but they were waiting for, like, the Oscar nominations. Child, the only nomination this movie got for the Oscars this year is Danielle Brooks for Supporting Actress, which, go girl, okay, get that award. I don't think she's going to win. I think it's going to be another curse. But that's it. The movie is not nominated for anything else at the Oscars. It's just Danielle Brooks supporting actress. So good luck, girl. Like, we'll see what happens. I'm gonna be watching, but ain't that crazy? I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about that. Like, do you know about that whole thing of the original movie? Like, Whoopi was nominated, Oprah was nominated, Best Supporting Actress, Best Picture, just nothing. So we'll see. Okay, so the part of Suge Avery is played by what's her name? Taraji P. Henson. Very good job. Now, I know a lot of people are like, "Oh my gosh, like we didn't know she was singing and or she sang." Well, she has to, she was singing if you know the part. But they were just really amazed at like the way she was singing. But that girl's been singing like forever. Like she did like Hustle and Flow. And there was another movie she sang in, if I'm not mistaken. Was it Tyler Perry? No. I don't remember. And there's video online of her like with a singing coach. And she's doing her scales and everything. And like, yeah, she can sing. Did she not sing on... well, I don't remember now. But remember she's doing the show Empire on Fox as Cookie. Did she not have singing parts on that show? I thought she did. I don't remember. But yes, very, very good job. And I know there was like a whole bunch of like stuff after the movie came out that she was talking about, like they had to dry themselves a set and they had no like craft services and just all this stuff that happened. Like she's spilling the tea on everything. I don't know if that affected any of like the nominations or like people's like view of the movie. Like I don't know. But this movie just always has controversy. The first movie, this movie, good grief. Alright, so Coleman Domingo plays Mr. Alright, and the original part was played by Danny Glover. And like, I was watching the movie and I was trying to debate like, who's a better Mr.? And not better as in like, who's not an asshole, but like, who was really scary as that part? I feel like Danny Glover I think he played the shit out of that role. Coleman, like, I'm not saying that Coleman Domingo was bad, but I don't know. I guess he's like, I don't know. But anyway, I'll keep that in my head. But no, he did a really good job. He did a really good job, Spencer. You know what's my favorite part of this movie, and they did it in this movie too. But I remember as like a little kid, I was probably like 7 or something, and I was watching The Color Purple. And Suge said, Suge had called Mr. Albert, and Whoopi at the time was like, Albert? And then I realized as a 7-year-old, like, man, this lady was married to this man after all these years and never knew his first name. She just called him Mr. And so, yeah, they do that in this movie too. But, like, every time I think of Mr. in that part, like, I always think of that scene. She was a grown-ass woman before she heard someone call this man Albert. It's still so funny to me. Yes, Coleman Domingo. I remember first seeing him, like really recognizing him on Fear the Walking Dead. But he's been in a lot of stuff. He's actually nominated for Rustin. It's a movie on Netflix. It's really good. Go watch it. But yeah. Corey Hawkins plays Harpo, who is Mr.'s son. I thought he did a really good job. I really, really did enjoy his performance in this movie. Her, the singer, she plays Squeak, a.k.a. Mary Agnes, if I'm not mistaken. That's her real name, but they call her Squeak. But like, okay, the original movie had Ray Don Chong play Squeak, and she's had like this weird, annoying voice. But then I was waiting for her to like do something unique with this character, and she kind of didn't. Like, Squeak was kind of boring to me. I was waiting for her. Y'all got this big old swamp. Okay, so in the first movie, her and Sophia didn't get along. Squeak was like, Harper, who's this woman? And he's like, well, that's my wife, because he's still married to Sophia, even though she left his ass. But he's now dating Squeak, and she don't know. But Sophia's slapping people left and right. So I was waiting to be like, what are they going to do in this movie? Because he builds his juke joint, like, on, it's like this, a pier in the middle of a swamp that, like, there's some land that his grandfather left him. And I was like, Squeak went through like a trap door in the first movie when Sophia punched her. But so I was waiting for them to be like a big fight, and then Squeak goes flying into the swamp or something. but it doesn't happen. So whatever. I could do without Squeak. Like, ooh, y'all. So what really got me was the guy playing Celie and Nettie's father in the very beginning of this movie, right? So I'm looking at this man, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, I know who that is. Like, that looks like someone familiar. And it took me a while to realize Dion Cole is playing their father. I don't know if he's wearing like makeup, or maybe it's just the way his face is shaved or not shaven. I need to watch the movie again because he's only really kind of in the beginning of the movie. I don't remember his name being Alfonso. Was his name always Alfonso? Maybe they didn't say it in the original movie, but anyway, y'all, the father's Dion Cole. So just FYI, like, that blew me away when I when I was looking at it and found out. And then when the credits were going up at the end of the movie, I was waiting to see like it say like Celie's father or whatever, but they were calling him Alfonso. So, but yeah, it came up and it said Dion Cole. I was like, oh my god, I didn't even know he was even in this movie. Kind of rounding out the cast, we got Louis Gossett Jr. who plays Mister's father. Tamala Mann starts off the movie in a song, and the movie's gonna be good when you see Tamala Mann as like a church lady. I was like, oh, this movie gonna be good. I can't tell you what she sang. Again, I left the movie theater. I don't remember no songs that was sang. Angelou Ellis plays the mom. There's a little flashback when Celie was hanging out with her mom, learning how to sew and stuff. And David Alan Grier, okay, America's Treasure, is in this movie. But here's the thing. He's once again playing a preacher. How many times has this man played a preacher? so, right off the top of my head, I remember in Martin, the TV show starring Martin Lawrence, for y'all that don't know, he played the preacher. What's his name? Lonnie? What was it? Lonnie Love? I might have the name wrong. Lonnie Love? Love Lonnie? Something. Then there's a movie recently called They Cloned Tyrone, and was he not a preacher in that movie, or am I confused you for? I should probably look this up before I started talking, but was he not a preacher? He has been a preacher like 5 times. Every time I look around, this man's playing a preacher. Anyway, just FYI. The preacher is David Alan Grier. And last but not least, Whoopi Goldberg does make a cameo in this movie. I have just said that, so I will let you find her and see what part she plays. But Whoopi does return to the franchise. It's not a franchise. I guess it is now because it's multiple things. She's there. Alright, so just kind of to wrap this video up, I thought the cinematography in the movie was good. Like, there were some beautiful shots of places and things in this movie. I know at the beginning, like, Celie sings a song with workers building a railroad, and then there's one point she's in front of a waterfall. There's this beach scene that they keep using where there's like a tree that they're in and around, and the water's behind it, and it's just, I thought they did a really good job. And I like how they kind of changed things here and there. Like, one example is in the original movie, Celie's family home is like on this big land of property surrounded by a lot of land. But then in this movie, they kind of live like in town. So they own a store and then they live on top of the store. So I was like, oh, okay, city life. Because I was waiting for them to, okay, if they're working in a store, I was waiting for Mister to be like, go home. and then you see her running, I don't know, down a road somewhere to get home. But no, he was like, get upstairs. So I was like, oh, they live on top of the building. Oh, okay, movie. There's things like that. I like. I mean, I can't say the movie word for word. You know scene from scene, and then as the movie's going on, you probably start saying like reciting parts, lines from the original movie. So I was kind of doing that, and you could tell where things were kind of, the story was being rushed, and then people are saying things from the original, but then there's like bits and pieces that are now new. And so like, okay, that's kind of some filler there. Okay, that's new. But one thing I did notice that I did kind of appreciate is, for example, in the original movie, Harpo's complaining that Sophia won't listen to him, and then Celie said, well, you should beat her, because that's what Celie knows. And so Sophia finds her and says, you told Harpo to beat me. I had to fight my uncles. I had to fight my brothers. Now, in this movie, it plays out that way, but now, this time, they kind of give Celie more dialogue in response back, right? Because in the original, Sophia's like, yeah, you told Harpo to beat me and blah, 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 blah. And Celie really just kind of doesn't have an answer. She's just like, damn, okay. This one, like, Celie's like, well, you know what? I believe she was more saying, like, I'm just kind of jealous of you. Like, you're doing what I can't do. And I thought that would have been the answer. So they give her more dialogue and response. So I kind of like that because, you know, again, in the original, she doesn't really say nothing in here. And of course, Sophia goes into a song. I had to fight my brothers. It's a whole production after that. But they do that with certain scenes. There's some scenes you kind of watch and you're like, oh yeah, okay, I know this scene. And then you're like, huh, well that's different. Another thing that was kind of interesting was, what's kind of driving me crazy? Like in the original movie, Mister did a really good job hiding those letters from Celie. Like she had no idea these letters were in that house. And it took them they were tearing up that house looking for letters while he was out drinking in the field with Suge's husband or boyfriend at the time. I forgot. But in this movie, I swear it only took them like 2 minutes. Like they go into a closet and open a box and bam, letters. See, they could have done that a long time ago. And then they like fix it back to make it look like nothing happened or anything. She's just taking the letters and now it's empty. And he finds out later what she did, but that was kind of weird. You mean they couldn't just go out, dig a hole or something? Like, it just seemed like they just found him so quick. Like, all right, well, on to the next scene. Okay, so my favorite part of the show, it's time to rate the movie. So, out of 5 shots of brown liquor today, oh Lord, we're going to start this year off right. I had no problem with the movie. It wasn't too long. Like, I sat pretty much invested. I wasn't like falling asleep or anything. And there weren't times where I was like, like, hurry up. Like, I just, again, it's super different from watching this. Like, I had to keep telling myself, like, okay, it's this. So, you know, it's going to be a lot more details and dialogue and stuff. So, the songs were good. It wasn't like too heavy with songs. Like, it gave people time to shine. So, I had no problems with that. I thought it was good. I thought they did a really good job. And too bad that they didn't get more acknowledgement for the Oscars this year. So, I guess it is what it is. So, I'm actually going to give this movie 4 stars. I mean shots. Who said stars? Who said stars? Alright, I'm giving this movie 4 shots. I'm going to drink this one. So cheers. It's just January too. Okay, y'all. So, what are your thoughts of The Color Purple? Have you seen The Color Purple? Have you seen the original? Have you seen the play? And or have you seen the new movie? Oh, you know what? The liquor just reminded me. You know what? There is one thing I hate about this movie. Just one thing. And the one thing I actually hate about this movie is this damn cover art. The poster. What's it called? The movie poster. What is this? Okay, I get that this is the movie version of the play, but I feel like a poster like this is what I should see when I'm going to the play. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Like, you know, you look at this movie, you know, you got Whoopi, she's in a rocking chair, and the silhouette is showing her reading a letter. So you're like, The Color Purple? Ooh, that looks intense. What's this letter she's reading? Well, I guess I gotta watch the movie to find out, right? Not this movie. Not this movie poster. It's like, what is this? Is it? Am I nitpicking? I'm not nitpicking, you guys. Come on now. Like, how much did they spend on this movie? You couldn't just... It just looks so generic. Just... I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like this movie poster. Which is really funny because... there's a bunch of movies back here. I could think of two right now, but I'm not going to mention them. But, you know, you get these movie posters and you're just like, that's what they picked? You know, I see those ones where, like, it's a picture of the movie, but it's showing stuff that's not even in the movie. It's just, I don't know. They could just have a... You know what? Bye. Please like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I'm just going to see y'all in the next episode, okay? So... Until then, TTF, and wait, look at my glasses, you guys. Watch this. I'm probably getting cancer right now.